If you're dealing with a huge creative block, it doesn't mean that you are out of ideas. You just need to know how to loosen up your brain. You just need to know how to shake up a stuck mindset and get those creative juices flowing again. Hello, my creative friend. Welcome to the BDI Create Today podcast. This is a podcast where we'll discover the who, what, where, when, why, and how you can be creative or have more creativity. And together, we'll explore the extraordinary impact creativity can have in your life, in your heart, mind, body, and soul. And if we haven't met yet, I am Beth Buffington, a licensed artist, digital illustration instructor, and a creative coach living just outside of the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. But mostly, I am someone who is curious about how creativity can weave its way into our lives. Now, each week we're going to look at one or more of the sparkly facets that make up the ever-changing kaleidoscope that is creativity. Hello, my creative friend. Got a question for you today. Are you struggling to brainstorm for that next big idea? Or are you feeling creatively exhausted or foggy with your decision-making abilities? Does that sometimes happen to you? It happens to me too. And if you're dealing with this, or you're dancing on the edge of having a huge creative block, it doesn't mean that you are out of ideas. You just need to know how to loosen up your brain. You just need to know how to shake up a stuck mindset and get those creative juices flowing again. And here is a weird example of what I mean. Let me tell you this story. When my girls were growing up, we had this TV in our house, and it was, for lack of a better term, persnickety, okay? When you tried to turn on this TV, every now and again, it would just sit there with a blank screen. I mean, you could tell it was trying to do something, but no picture started up. So consider that your creative block. It was stuck and it was trying, but there was nothing to show for its efforts. But now, as a family, we knew how to get this TV unstuck. We had a simple tool. We knew that all we had to do was jiggle it awake. And there was one thing that always worked. And that was we take the TV and we would just pop it with the side of our hand on top of the TV or on the side of the TV. And that quick pop made the picture just loosen up. And whatever was supposed to be on TV at that moment would suddenly appear. And we could settle in and watch whatever show we wanted to watch. It worked like a charm. That quick pop, it loosened up the inner workings of the TV and started its juices flowing again. Now, what I'm going to share with you today about unblocking your creative block, it's similar, but you do not need to pop yourself on the head. But like my old TV, when your creativity is blocked or it's stuck, you do need to loosen up your brain, just like we had to loosen up the television when it was stuck. You need to do the same thing to get your creative juices flowing again. So the secret to unlocking your blocked creativity or finding an answer to a problem you might be having and you just can't figure it out, well, it might be closer and simpler than you think. Loosening up or getting your juices flowing requires 1, a little bit of movement, and 2, a change of scenery. And today we're going to talk about how all of this can begin by taking a walk. Now, hear me out, because a walk is your secret power. In just 10 minutes of moving outside, your brain begins to shift in ways that will spark clearer thinking. It will lower stress, and it can open doors to ideas you didn't even know you had. It sounds simple, right? So why even do a video on this, Beth? Well, that's because there are a few key guidelines that you should know in order to reap the full benefits of taking a walk in nature. So stick with me. We're going to cover all of these things in this episode. And my friend, I'm going to show you how science backs up the value of movement in nature to loosen up that creative block. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why and how this works and how you can start using it right away. You're going to receive exact instructions that will help you unblock your creativity. So if you've been feeling stuck or foggy or sluggish or even overwhelmed, or you're feeling like your creativity has just gone quiet, this could be the reset that will change everything. I'm Beth Buffington. This is Create Today with Beth Buffington. And welcome, my friend, to episode 104. So let's start with something we don't talk about enough, and that is creative block. It's not about lack of talent. It's often about lack of mental space. And when I talk about space, I mean the space you're in, not the space between your ears. When you're juggling responsibilities or you're staring at screens or you're looking at a blank canvas and you're thinking in straight lines all day, the brain tightens up. It gets nervous and it can freeze, literally freeze up. It tries to be so efficient that it's often on super high alert. But that quite often means that it doesn't allow for your best creative ideas. Creativity needs openness. It needs space to wander and ponder, and it needs time to breathe. And surprise, surprise, the outdoor creates those exact conditions. So even a brief step outside for only 10 minutes can change the internal climate of your mind and thaw out that frozen brain and help your creativity to thrive. So that you know I'm not just working off intuition here, I'm going to show you how science proves that nature plus movement equals a powerful creative boost. And here's what researchers have found. First, walking itself boosts creative thinking. Researchers have found that walking, whether outdoors or even on a treadmill, my friend, well, that can increase divergent thinking. And this is the kind of thinking that generates solutions to problems or comes up with fresh ideas. Researchers have found that people who walked performed substantially better on creativity tests than people who had not walked and had just been sitting before taking the test. That means the simple motion of walking loosens up our thinking. And second, nature specifically restores attention and reduces mental fatigue. Researchers Stephen and Rachel Kaplan discovered what they call attention restoration theory that explains how natural environments provide what they call soft fascination. This is gentle stimuli like rustling leaves or clouds or falling snow that allow our directed attention to rest and then regenerate. When our attention is restored and refreshed, we can focus more creatively and more flexibly afterwards. In other words, nature gives your brain a break so that the creative parts of your mind can move to the forefront and do some good work. Creativity thrives on that restored attention. When you allow yourself time in natural environments, science shows that this improves creative thinking and cognitive flexibility. A 2022 review found that time in nature increases creative output and even the depth of your ideas. And finally, a 2024 neuroimaging study observed measurable brain changes after a walk in nature that was consistent with improved attention, and executive function. Whew, that is so cool that you can have improved attention and better brain function just by taking a walk in nature. That is not hard, and that is easy to do. And my friend, that is free. This is the mental flexibility that helps your creativity function. So you can see that there is neural evidence that a break in nature is a real biological reset. All of this means that movement plus nature equals creative advantage. The practices that we'll use today are backed up by this research. But you'll find that what we're going to do, they are simple and they are practical enough to use today or anytime in the future that you feel creatively blocked. But now, years ago, I remember working on a project, and as I sat in front of my iPad and my computer, I saw the morning evaporate. I'd been sitting in my studio for hours trying to find an idea to push forward, and nothing was coming. And I believe that my Westie at that time was Bentley, and he let me know that it was time for a walk. So I slipped on his leash and we went out for the walk. I had no creative intention. I just knew I needed to walk Bentley. So I was outside to let him wander and stretch his legs. But while I was outside, it was as if my brain started unfolding from a box I had smashed it inside. And now suddenly it felt looser and it could breathe. So I let my thoughts just ramble about while Bentley was sniffing and trotting along on our path. We were gone maybe 15 minutes, but by the time we came home, I had several new ideas that reshaped my entire project. 15 minutes, I came home full of ideas that I could not think of in hours while I had been struggling in my studio. So, with the science we've just talked about today, I know now that on that walk, I didn't just get lucky with my ideas. My brain simply needed different conditions to allow my creativity space to breathe. And that's what today's episode is all about. Creating those conditions on purpose so that your creativity can flourish. And my friend, stay with me right now because I'm going to give you specific instructions so that you can learn how to do this very thing all on your own and know how to get the most out of every minute you are doing this ultra important creative movement. But first, let's take a quick break for today's sponsor. And our sponsor today is Silva Sessions. So if our topic today is reminding you that your creative health is important, but you would like to have guidance so that you can build a grounded and joyful and healthy creative life, come and join me and my dear friend, Lisa Murphy, a certified health coach, and join us inside Silva Sessions. Inside Silva Sessions, we meet to explore creative wellness by concentrating on 3 C's. Core care, which is movement, nutrition, and rest. Creative care that helps you explore how to reduce anxiety and stress, and how to use your creativity to spark new ideas. And community care, which is connection with other creatives that will help you strengthen your resilience. If you want a space that nourishes your creativity, Silva Sessions is a wonderful place for you to grow and strengthen your creative well-being. You can join us using the link in the show notes or go to www.bdi-create.today and you'll find a link to join Silva Sessions. Now let's get back to the episode. My friend, when you step outside and begin walking, this increases oxygen flow to the brain and activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms your body and supports clearer, more creative thinking. And the best part, It doesn't have to be an all-day hike or even an hour walk. You can find benefits in just 10 minutes of walking in nature. 10 minutes signals to your brain, we're stepping out of this problem mode and into creative mode. My friend, here's a secret. Most people don't need more time to solve problems or figure out new ideas. They need a portal that will take them to new ideas. And a 10-minute walk, that is a portal. And it is free. Now, let's prep ourselves for taking this 10-minute walk. I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can use this outdoor time to gather new ideas. Number 1 is you're taking a micro nature break. That's a tool that you can keep in your creative toolbox to fix future problems of creative block. And number 2, walk without trying to solve anything. Don't go out with preconceived results. Don't tell yourself, I must go out for a walk to come back with 5 great ideas. Don't push it. Just get away. And remember, all you're doing right now is you're just shaking off your creative staleness. You're loosening up your brain so that you can allow yourself to think. But the less you push, the more these ideas will surface. So go out and relax and just let nature do the rest. And number 3, use nature as your creative prompt. So let your mind revel in that soft fascination we've been talking about and focus on textures and colors or shapes that could spark a new direction for you. Number 4, go on your walk totally unplugged. Let me say that one more time because this is so important. Go on your walk totally unplugged. This means that when you go outside to take your walk, you are not taking your headphones with you. You're not taking a screen to look at. You're not going to answer any phone calls. You're not going to look at any texts. You can be away for 10 minutes from the world without being plugged in. So put your phone away and just get away. Number 5, capture one word or idea when you return. My friend, retrieval. Oh, that's everything. When you get back to home or office or studio, write down your thoughts and allow them to continue to percolate ideas and find creative solutions. But if you don't write them down, all you're going to remember is that you had a good idea, but you don't remember it. So I'm inviting you to join me for a creative walking meditation. It's going to serve as an introduction to your own creative wandering. And here's what you're going to need to prepare for this creative meditation. Either step outside, and this time you may stay plugged in because I want you to take this podcast with you so that you can follow along in the guided meditation. And if you can't get outside, I want you to look out a window that will provide you natural light and a view of the outdoors. And then later on, go and take this walk outdoors. And if you're watching this episode on YouTube, go ahead and finish the video and then take a walk. And if you haven't visited me on my YouTube channel, this would be a great episode to check out. You'll be able to walk with me as I wander through the forest preserve near my house. And you're going to see the 10 inches of snow that we've had since Thanksgiving. And remember, if you can go outside, you can listen to the guided meditation as you walk and take me with you. And feel free to use this guide again and again. It may become a new creative ritual for you. As you prepare for your walk, there's a few things I want you to be mindful of. First, feel free to move at an easy pace. Choose a pace that works with you so that you can let your mind wander without feeling exhausted. And also, I want you to take a little notebook or a Post-it notepad or a piece of paper and also something to write with. You're going to need this at the completion of your walk. So with this in mind, my friend, we're ready to walk. Let's get started. Let's begin walking. Now, during the first minute of our walk, I want you to soften your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are lowered, they're not up by your ears, and just swing them so that you can stroll comfortably. And now I also want you to check your jaw. Is it clenched? Check it out. Purposely soften your jaw. Your jaw and your shoulders, these are places in our body where we often hold our stress. And on your walk, it is important to allow yourself a moment of relaxation. So allow your pace and your body to match the rest that you need. Now, during the second minute of your walk, let's focus on your breathing. I want you to inhale for 3 strides and then exhale for 3 strides. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Continue these deep breaths of inhale, exhale 3 more times. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Allowing a burst of purposeful oxygen into your system provides better focus for your brain to function. Now, I want you to calmly notice 3 things that you might normally overlook on a walk. Take a look around you and focus on something that seems unusual. Right now, you are heightening your senses. And by putting on this increased focus, it will open up your brain to consider new ways to solve problems and to conquer fresh ideas. So look around you and think about what you're looking at, what you're seeing, and look at it for the first time. Here on my walk, I noticed how glittery the snow looked. I noticed how bright the blue sky popped against the darkness of the trees without leaves. I noticed how the snow piled so beautifully on top of fallen trees. And I looked very hard to see if I could find any deer in the woods. Now, I want you to take a moment to do a sensory scan. Quietly name each of the 5 senses. You're going to say to yourself, I see, I hear, I feel, I smell, I taste. Then, of these senses, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What are you smelling? Or even what can you taste in the air as you walk? What are you noticing that you might typically overlook? We are often living life on autopilot, and we are moving from errand to errand when we're outside, and we don't see our world. When you're on this creative movement walk, this is when you get in touch with nature and you allow your brain to expand and think and play and experiment and be curious. So as you walk, concentrate on textures, shapes, colors, and details. I want you to allow your thoughts to drift and drift without grabbing at them. Let yourself wander and flit from idea to idea to idea, from thought to thought. And you may start thinking of things that are not part of the scenery in your walk. And that's okay. Let them come and only pull away from these thoughts if you sense that you're entering into the negative spiral that held you captive in your home, in your studio, or office before you started your walk. If you can't pull yourself away from that negative spiral, try taking that spiral and flipping it upside down. Change the negative direction to a positive direction. So, what if you looked at those obstacles as hurdles that you are capable of jumping? What if your obstacles were looked at as opportunities for getting somewhere even better? How might you step out of your comfort zone to use an obstacle as a place to network or to learn something new or to start a new chapter? Allow your mind to wander and flit from thought to thought, but do not let your inner critic drive your wandering thought bus for you. Now, as we move into the last couple minutes of our walk, I want you to think what ideas or solutions popped up in your mind that might need further consideration. Ask yourself, is there a new approach I could try? Stay positive. How can you flip a negative thought to a positive thought? And be gentle. Consider this without pressure. Also, remember that the ideas that come to you will often come as half-baked notions that you'll need to iron out and configure later. Right now, you're just gathering thoughts, good and bad, strange and fantastic. So as you are finishing up your walk, I want you to think about those thoughts and keep them in the forefront of your mind. And at the end of your walk, I want you to get out your notebook or that pad of paper, and I want you to write quick words that come to mind or sketch any ideas that might have popped up into your mind. I have found that if you don't write down these whispers or those eureka moments, well, they fade quickly. And if you don't write them down, all you're going to remember is that you had a good idea that slipped your mind. So write your ideas down, write those solutions down. And here's something magic. Writing will not only save your thoughts once you are back to your home, your office, or your studio, but it's also going to preserve the energy and the excitement that you felt when you have a new idea. So once you're back from your walk, if you noticed even a small shift in your mood, or gathered a few interesting ideas, or found the beginning to a solution to solve a problem that you were wrestling with, and this all happened during your walk, imagine how powerful this practice will become when you repeat this creative movement consistently. These moments of movement, they compound your creativity. And when you feel blocked or stuck, you'll know before you've wasted valuable time trying to pour from an empty vessel that you need to get your creative self away from the sterile environment that is blocking your creativity and get yourself out into nature. So here's the takeaway. for today, my friend. 10 minutes outside with nature is more than just a break in your day. This is a creative reset. It's a pattern interrupt. It's a way to let your brain breathe so your creativity can expand. And use this tool consistently and see how your creativity grows. But remember to really take advantage of these creativity walks in nature. You must be unplugged, unless you're listening to a guided meditation. But no matter where your creative wanderings might take you, remember that my wish for you today and always is to stay creative, my friend.